What's up, guys? I'm JJ,
I'm Angel.
and this is PM Football. Today, we are going to be doing our mock draft 4.0. It is going to be a 2-round edition. We're 2 weeks away from the draft. There's a bunch of rumors that have come out. We're going to try to put them together and try to mix and match the pieces to the puzzle and try to get some of these picks right. So let's start things off with number 1.
Yeah, with the first overall pick, we have the Tennessee Titans taking Cam Ward. Almost etched in stone at
Pretty
this
much.
point. You saw the Titans cancel their meeting with Shador Sanders. I think that was pretty much the nail in the coffin. It's looking like Cam Ward's going to Tennessee, so that will be pretty easy.
They've had dinner. He's had dinner with the owners.
It's kind of similar to the Bears with Caleb last year. Caleb was their only meeting with them last year, so almost the same situation. Like they're only focused on Cam.
Yeah.
At this point in the process, we're 2 weeks away, so it's looking like it's gonna be Cam Ward.
No, I agree. Moving on to number 2, we got the Browns. Now, this is where the draft officially starts because it could go either one or two ways. It's either going to be Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. And with the way things are going right now, it's really looking like it's going to be Travis Hunter.
According to rumors, yes.
So with the second overall pick, we're going to have the Cleveland Browns selecting Travis Hunter. Now, the caveat with this pick, it's kind of the opposite of what we were thinking originally. The Browns are making it seem like they want him to play receiver most of the time and sprinkle him in on defense, where we originally thought it was defense full-time, sprinkle him in on offense.
And I will give you credit because you have said before the season even ended, you feel like Travis would translate better in the NFL as a receiver. I still, to this day, think corner's a better fit, but I think we could both agree that he's very good at both, and you can't necessarily go wrong having him play either side.
For sure.
Number 3 is the New York Giants. A lot of people have Abdul Carter as possibly the best overall prospect in the class. We're going to have the Giants take Abdul Carter here at 3. They already have 2 talented edges at I'm blanking on this.
Kayvon
Thibodeau and Brian Burns. Thank you very much. Sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, I think it's one of those scenarios where you just get BPA, best player available, obviously, and you find your best 11. You just make it work. You make it fit. I think you would be kind of crazy to not take Abdul Carter here.
Yeah, like you said, the Giants are not winning the Super Bowl next year. You have to build up this team into a Super Bowl contender, and the best way to do that is to get the best player of the draft at the third pick.
That's how really good teams become really good. When they're not good, you just get best player available and you start building over the years.
And like you said, even though they do have 2 other guys at those positions that he plays already, he has played off-ball linebacker in college and has shown he can do it at a high level. So there's no reason for me to think all 3 of those guys can not be on the field at the same time.
You could absolutely find a way to have 3 of those guys on the field together most of the time.
Yeah. All right, moving on to number 4, we got the Patriots. Now, realistically, I think this is a very interesting trade back scenario here.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only problem is like we've said for the last however many mock drafts we've done, we don't know which team would be willing to move up and for who.
Yeah.
It's just very hard to figure that out.
You can't just move up just to move up.
But we decided to not do trades in this mock, so we're going to have the Pats stay at 4, and with that pick, they're going to be selecting Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU. At this point, there was a lot of concerns about him not being able to play tackle at the next level because of the arm length. I think that's kind of gone away at this point. Majority.
I think they're talking about less than they.
Majority of the people are like he was a 3-year starter in an SEC school and was a really good player. Like, if you can play at mini NFL in college, you should be able to handle it at the next level. And if you can't, you kick him inside and you got a really good guard.
Yeah.
So I think, and it's the biggest position of need for the Patriots.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think this is the right move for New England. At number 5, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Mason Graham, D-tackle out of Michigan. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have we had Mason Graham going to Jacksonville every mock draft, if not pretty much most of them?
This is what I was just about to say. As much as Cam Ward is etched in at stone at 1, I think Mason Graham is almost etched in at stone at the Jags
It makes
at 5.
sense. You want to address the trenches, especially when you're rebuilding like the way they are. We've seen them go D-line in the past many times. I feel like they go here again at Mason Graham. I think this would be the ideal pick for Jacksonville.
No, I agree. Moving on to number 6, we got the Vegas Raiders. Now, the only pick that I've seen in probably the past 3 weeks has been Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah.
It's been Ashton Jeanty.
Have you seen, was it their GM? I think it was their GM where the something about the Suns saying they need to choose Genty.
Yeah. But obviously, why would we change it? We're gonna have with the sixth pick. We're gonna have them selecting Ashton Genty. Do I 100% agree with this pick? No. Do I understand why? Yes.
Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers on an offense.
I understand the
Pretty
appeal.
good.
I also think they have bigger needs to fill than running back. But like you said, getting Ashton Genty to pair with a Brock Bowers on an offense with a competent quarterback. It's not like if they didn't have Geno, this is a completely different conversation.
I agree with you, yeah.
They have Geno now. I still think they could go another way with this pick, but I understand it. I'm cool with it, with Ashton Genty going at 6.
Absolutely. Number 7, we have the New York Jets taking Armand Membu. He has really risen over the past month or so. I think a lot of mocks have him in the top 10, like pretty solidified at this point. The Jets, for the past few seasons, have desperately needed O-line.
Specifically right tackle.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't get much better than Armand Membu. He's so talented in so many different ways. So this would be a great pick for the Jets.
Yep. And moving on to number 8, we got the Carolina Panthers. With the 8th pick, we're going to have them selecting T-Mac. Now, a lot of people...
learn to say his name, bro.
Tatoria.
I'm going to mess it up.
I don't even know if that's how you say it. That's how I've been saying it, though. I'm just going to call him T-Mac.
Yeah.
Just stick with T-Mac. But a lot of people have had Jalen Walker going here recently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it. I love Jalen Walker. They just do not have any scary weapons on that offense. Your best weapon is Adam Thielen, and he's 34 years old.
Yeah.
As cool as and as much as I like Adam Thielen, you have to draft a successor. And why not bring in a big-bodied receiver that's going to make it easy for Bryce Young to throw balls to?
I completely agree with you, especially with how we saw him progress the second half of the season. You see he's starting to take those strides. I don't think if you're the Panthers, you want to stunt that at all. I think if anything, you want to kind of make the pace go faster. So I think taking T-Mac here is absolutely the right choice.
Having T-Mac, Leggett, and Thielen on the field at the same time, that could be a good trio.
Absolutely. At number 9, we have the New Orleans Saints. It's getting pretty interesting here. A lot of people have Shador fallen. New Orleans has so many needs. They're not going to win anything anytime soon.
No.
With the 9th overall pick, we have the New Orleans Saints taking Shador Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado. Will he start right away? Maybe. Can't really guarantee it with the whole Derek Carr situation. But you at least have a successor and something to look forward to in the next coming years. You have something to build around. They don't really have anything to build around over there in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So at least with Shador here, you have something to build around and something to look forward to in the future. It's something you could just, like I said, build around for the next few years.
And like you said, they have needs all over that team.
Everywhere. They're in cap
But
hell.
you can't build a team unless you have a quarterback.
Exactly.
So why not take a swing when you are in the position like you just said? They're not winning games next year.
No.
No one with that pick that's on the board still is going to change them from a 4-win team to an 8-win team to get them to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So why not take a chance on the quarterback? He's fallen this far already, even though he probably might fall farther on actual draft night.
I think will be the story. Every year there's like a story for round 1. I think that's absolutely the story this year. Where does Shador go? How far does he fall?
I agree. Moving on to number 10, we got the Chicago Bears. Genty's off the board. So, in my opinion, you just go BPA. And my BPA right now is Jalen Walker. So, with the 10th pick, we're going to have them taking Jalen Walker. Just a versatile chess piece on that defense to be able to move around on a defense that doesn't really have a type of a player like that. Mm-hmm. They have Montez Sweat on the outside, who's a speed rusher, but you can have Jalen Walker line up opposite of him, and you can have him stand up and play linebacker if you need him to. Yeah. I just think he becomes a very versatile piece to that defense. They've built the offensive line in free agency, so I wouldn't hate if they go O-line here, but Will Campbell to us is the best offensive lineman in this class. He's off the board. So you take the best defensive player that's on the board right here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been praising Jalen Walker for it feels like months now. I mean, I absolutely love this pick for Chicago. Number 11, we have San Francisco 49ers. We have them taking Will Johnson, corner out of Michigan. They lost a lot of pieces in that DB room this offseason. Slowly help rebuild that with Will Johnson here, who is the best corner or best DB available in our eyes.
I agree. I think Will Johnson could come in right away and be an immediate impact starter,
Yeah.
especially at a position of where they lost people in free agency.
Absolutely.
They also need interior D-line, but I think Will Johnson is a better corner available than an interior defensive line that's available right now. Moving on to number 12, we got the Dallas Cowboys, and with the 12th pick, we're going to have them selecting Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive lineman out of Texas. They have Zach Martin retire.
Mm-hmm.
You need a replacement for him. And I'm not necessarily saying Banks is going to be the guard, but they still
He needs
have
to bolster it.
Tyler Smith, who, in my opinion, is a guard that they have
I
playing
agree
tackle
with you.
right now.
I agree with you.
You kick Tyler Smith inside, and you have Kelvin take over that position, and you're heading in the right direction on that offensive line.
And even then, Tyler Guyton did not look good last year, and it's still early.
He was okay. It's not a first round pick worthy playing
I
well
think
enough.
he still has a lot of question marks, and that's a little unfair because it's a rookie. Offensive line is one of the hardest.
Quarterback wasn't healthy.
Exactly, and offensive line is one of the hardest positions to translate to the NFL from college. So I'm not in any way saying to give up on Tyler Guyton. However, like if the scenario comes where he's still struggling, you could move him inside possibly or move him to the right,
Yeah.
and then plug Kelvin in to the left.
I just think
there.
Kelvin gives you a multitude of options.
Exactly.
So that way, whoever's struggling at any certain point, you move them inside and kick the other
As long
guy
as
out.
it's not center.
Exactly. But they got a solid center, so
Exactly.
you don't need to worry
Exactly.
about that right now.
And I think that's a very Jerry Jones pick. You get a Texas boy that's on the offensive line. That's very much a Jerry Jones pick.
Yes.
Number 13, we have the Miami Dolphins taking Tyler Booker. We've said the praises of Tyler Booker all throughout this entire draft process.
Now the funny thing is that I don't think that love is reciprocated.
I was
through other draft
literally about
pundits.
to say I see him falling a lot, and I'll be honest, I don't really understand it. They obviously probably know a lot more inside stuff than we do. Maybe there's
I
some
think the
complications
biggest
going on
thing
there.
with him is that he's a guard. Like
Yeah.
all these other guys are like, oh, that he could play guard, but he's also played tackle in college.
yeah.
Tyler Booker's only played guard.
No, that's a very good
But
point.
for the Dolphins,
They
you take the
desperately
best
need-
offensive lineman available.
Yeah,
And that's who we think
and
that
it's
is.
a position group that they desperately need.
You said Taron Armstead retire.
Yeah. Who do they have? Legitimately, who do they have?
They drafted the guy from Houston last year.
That's right. Not Chris Paul. That's his brother. The brother of
It
Chris
is Chris Paul.
No, it's his brother.
Regardless,
Chris Paul?
I think it is. It's
It's something.
Patrick Paul.
Patrick
Patrick Paul.
Because Chris Paul is his
Yeah.
brother. Who's on
Patrick
Washington.
Paul. They drafted last year in the second round, I believe.
Yeah.
Didn't really play at all for them last year, so they're hoping that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he comes in and plays well. Then you have Patrick Paul left tackle, Tyler Booker left guard. That
Got your
solves a
left
lot.
Side solidified, absolutely. So yeah, Tyler Booker's our choice here for Miami at 13.
Moving on to 14, we got the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to be taking Tyler Warren. If Tyler Warren is on the board at 14, Tyler Warren will be the pick.
I would be really shocked if he's available at 14 and they don't choose him.
Yeah.
I would be extremely shocked.
Yeah.
At 15, we have the Atlanta Falcons taking Michael Williams. I feel like the past few off seasons, we've been screaming at Atlanta to take an edge. They finally take one here at Michael Williams, an athletic freak. Could say a lot of positives about him. I think this is a great choice for
You
Atlanta.
keep him in Georgia.
Exactly.
And I think
him
he
home.
was playing very out of position this past year. They were playing him on inside a lot.
They were. Yeah.
And I mean, you can't really fault Kirby. Like, he's just going to put the best players on his team out on the field.
They have so much talent on
That's
that
what I'm
side of the
saying.
ball. Like, you could kind of just move almost anyone anywhere on that defense.
If you have a plethora of edge rushers and Mike Hell's your best one, you put him at the toughest position to
and
play.
it kind of goes with what our example for New York. Like, you just put your best 11 out there
Yeah.
and then figure out where to put them. But
Yep.
get your best 11 out there.
Yeah.
That's what Georgia did with Mike Hill last year.
No doubt. Moving on to 16, we got the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to have them selecting Shamar Stewart. Probably the most polarizing prospect in this entire class. There have been reports of him going as high as 8.
Mm-hmm.
There's been reports of him going as low as the second round. Like, this is a guy where you either love or you hate him.
It's a very high ceiling for him. I feel like if he hits, he could be a star in this league. If he hit, that's the.
But on the opposite end of that, he could be out of the league in 2
Exactly,
years.
exactly. So I think you bring up a good point of him being very polarizing.
So, but again, the Cardinals don't really have anybody on that defensive line that people are going into a game and are scared of. Shamar could be that guy. You need the coaching. You get him in there with Gannon, who is a defensive mastermind. They didn't really have many names on that defense last year, and they were still in a lot of games competing. They ended up with the 16th pick.
Yeah.
If you would have told me at the beginning of last season the Cardinals would be picking at 16, I wouldn't believe you. I think they'd be in the top 10.
No, I think you have a good point there. Yeah.
I think you get a guy with super high upside, and you just hope you can get the best out of him.
Absolutely. At 17, we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking Mike Green, edge out Marshall. I think he is a lesser extent polarizing to Shamar Stewart. A lot of people have him going, like you said, like maybe not in the top 10, but like 12 around.
I've
that,
seen
like,
a couple like
yeah,
that.
like late, like right before 10 or like all the way back to the second round. Like he's very polarizing. Again, very high upside on a prospect like him. I think if you're in Cincinnati's position with how bad your defense was and question marks around Trey Hendrickson, you have to take a swing here. And they take it on Mike Green, and if he hits, it's gonna be a home run hit.
And like you said, they need to attack defense.
Yeah.
As
was
cool
so
as it
bad
would
last
be
year.
to draft like a Colston Loveland or even a Marion, like that offense becomes almost unstoppable.
I mean, your offense is already gonna be a top 5 offense for the next 4 years.
That's exactly the
Yeah.
point. You don't need them. You have the guys there already that you already are.
Yeah.
You're just kind of overkilling at that point, and then your defense is terrible.
Yeah,
like you can
exactly.
score 40, but you're giving up 45.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really like that pick there. Moving on to number 18, we got the Seattle Seahawks. They have to address offensive line, offensive tackle or offensive guard. They have to attack it. We're gonna have them taking Donovan Jackson. Might be a little high, as most people have him, but I think Donovan Jackson is a very matured offensive lineman and come in and be a plug and play type
I think
of player.
he's a culture setter. Just
Yeah.
like the way he goes about the game and his attitude towards the game, he sets a culture, which is what Seattle kind of is.
He's
the kind of guys they like.
He's a very like steady Eddie type of player.
Yes.
Like you ask him to do something, he's going to do it at a very high level. He's done that his entire time at Ohio State. Had to play left tackle when Josh Simmons went down for them last year. Didn't give up a single pressure or sack. I mean, obviously, if I said no pressures, but didn't give up a single sack or pressure in the college football playoff. You're playing against some good teams in that.
Yeah.
Didn't give up a single pressure. I think he can come and be an instant contributor to a Seahawks team that needs help at that offensive line position.
Absolutely. At 19, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking Jahdae Barron, DB out of Texas. We've said throughout this entire process, he's so versatile. Probably the most versatile DB not named Travis Hunter in the entire class. He just has a lot to offer to a Bucs defensive back room that is looking for that kind of help.
Yeah, no, Jahdae is one of my favorite players in the entire draft. I like you said, versatile type of corner, great in zone, can play man, can play in the slot, can play outside. Like you can't really ask much more in a corner, and he has ball skills. He had 5 picks this year.
Yeah,
so
very talented player.
really like that pick for the Bucs. Moving on to number 20, we got the Denver Broncos. You're not walking in to next year with Jaleel McLaughlin as your running back, so we're gonna fix that for you right here and have you guys take Omarion Hampton. Omarion Hampton's such a good running back. Have you still not watched him?
I haven't studied his film the way I studied other people's film as much as I would like, but I am aware of his game.
Like, as good as the Broncos were with not that great of an offense last year.
No, I
name-wise,
understand that he brings a different dimension to that offense.
If they are able to establish a run game that was better than last year, they are going to be contenders. Like they are going to be a tough team. They're going to be a tough team to beat with how good that defense is, and if they can just get time of possession on the offensive side of the ball now, they're going to be a very tough team to beat.
Yeah, like I said, I think he just brings a completely different dimension
Yes.
to the offense, and it kind of helps ensure Bo Nix doesn't get that sophomore year slump.
Yeah.
At 21, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking Jackson Dart. We said last week, we aren't exactly in love with Jackson Dart as a prospect. However, when you are in a desperate situation like the Steelers are, gotta make desperate moves. There's a lot of things indicating that they could very well go Jackson Dart here.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing here. We have the Steelers taking Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss.
Will Aaron Rodgers probably be the Week 1 starter for the Steelers?
If he even signs, he's pissing me off.
The-
dude.
like, Right now, if I had to bet money,
yeah, I agree.
he would be the Week 1 starter.
Yeah, I agree.
Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers. He still hasn't signed though. So,
That's so dumb.
and even if he were to sign, I don't think that that's out of the
Yeah,
question.
I think regardless if he signs or not, I still think as of now it's looking like that's the pick.
100% agree. Moving on to number 22. This is the most makes sense pick of the entire draft so far for me. The Chargers are going to be selecting Colson Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. You pair Loveland back up with Harbaugh. They were both at Michigan together, and they need a tight end. Like, Herbert had McConkey last year. Josh Palmer leaves. Quentin Johnston, such a question mark. He had a good, solid year last year, but he still is dropping balls. You need a tight end to be able to come in there and make it easier for Herbert, and that's exactly what Colson Loveland does.
Absolutely. I like that you said this makes the most sense of any pick in the draft so far, and I agree. Literally a Harbaugh guy, just send him back to the coach that coached him in college.
Yep.
At 23, we have the Green Bay Packers taking Matthew Golden, receiver out of Texas. The Packers don't really have a true wide receiver one, and I think Matthew Golden provides that on day one. He comes in right away, and he's instantly the star of that offense.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love's best friend right
Yeah.
away. So we have him going to Green Bay here.
Green Bay has a bunch of receivers that can do some things really well.
Yeah.
They can't do all of them.
Yeah.
All of the things.
None
well.
of them are sticking. Like, 1 week it's this guy, the next week it's this guy, the next week it's this guy.
Yeah.
There's not one true superstar receiver on that.
If you can throw in a Matthew Golden into the mix with that receiving group, it opens not just stuff up for Golden, but the other receivers.
Yeah.
Jaden Reed could become a really good. I mean, he was last year, and like you said, he was a number 1 receiver 1 week, and then he'd get 1 target.
Exactly.
So a Golden, a guy that you know could come in and get 7-8 targets a game, opens things up significantly for the other players on that team. That's why I really like that pick. Moving on to number 24, we got the Minnesota Vikings. We've had this one mocked a bunch. We're going to have them selecting Malachi Stark, safety out of Georgia. And I'm going to say the same thing we say every time. Harrison Smith can't play forever. He can't keep signing 1-year deals. You bring in Malachi Starks, and it's not even, he doesn't even have to necessarily play like right away. You bring him in on times when you need, on pass coverage plays. And it's not even to say that he can't play on run downs. I truly think he can. But you don't necessarily need it right now. You lose Cam Bynum in free agency. That's a safety you've lost. He can come in and kind of fill that void and then be the heir apparent to a Harrison Smith.
Yeah. I think this is just such a Vikings pick.
And it's a value pick.
Absolutely. I love this pick for Minnesota. Absolutely. At 25, we have the Houston Texans taking Josh Simmons, tackle out of Ohio State. Texans desperately need
They have to.
O-line here. They are just a better version of the Dolphins. It's it's a no doubt you have to go O-line here.
Yeah.
And we give them the best O-lineman available in Josh Simmons out of Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't even think there's much to be said. Like,
Yeah.
th-
You
they-
sprint to the podium.
They have to go O-line. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Moving on to number 26, we got the LA Rams. We're going to have them selecting Jahad Campbell. Now, there's a lot of rumors going around right now that Jahad might slip out of the first round because of the shoulder injury. I believe it was patellar's in your knee, isn't it?
I'm not a doctor.
I don't know either. It was
I feel
something in
mad.
his shoulder.
I don't know what
It was something in his shoulder that is concerning. He had surgery on it, I think, just a couple months ago. And teams are really concerned about him. Besides the injury, he might be a top 12 player in the entire draft.
He's so good.
Like,
We've said it. I think pretty much every mock we've done this offseason. I cannot remember a linebacker prospect who could cover with his ability.
yeah.
Super talented in coverage.
Because you'll see a guy that has really good coverage ability and is not good against the run.
Yeah.
He does both.
He does both.
And he can
very
rush the
well.
passer.
Very well. Yes.
So I think the Rams get a value pick here. I could see them potentially going quarterback if Dart's on the board. But in this mock, he is not on the board. So you just go BPA on the defense and just keep building that young the defense that's already super young and has already contributed and been a really good defense.
Yeah.
You add an even better player with Jahad Campbell into that mix.
Absolutely. At 27, we have the Baltimore Ravens taking Nick Emenwari, safety out of South Carolina. You add Nick Emenwari to that DB room, one of the best DB rooms in the entire NFL. I really love his game, how physical he is, his size, and what he contributes to the defensive side of the ball. I think this would be a home run pick for Baltimore.
The athleticism in that safety room might be the most athletic room in the entire league.
It would be insane.
Two absolute freaks of nature at the position.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 28, we got the Detroit Lions. We're going to have them selecting Donovan Ezeraku, defensive end out of Boston College. If you can get a speed rusher to play opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, I don't think you pass up on that.
I agree.
Aiden Hutchinson missed time last year, and they desperately needed another guy to step up, and they just did not have that. So just in case, knock on wood, Aiden Hutchinson were to go down, you have another guy there to help out with the pass rush.
Absolutely. I think this is a good pick for Detroit. Like you said, you need another edge rusher opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. And they get one here out of Donovan Ezeraku. At 29, we have the Washington Commanders taking James Pierce Jr., edge out of Tennessee. Another polarizing pick. Some people are a lot higher on him than others. He has that question mark when it comes to off the field. Do you even know specifically what it is?
I think a lot of it just has to do with his, he just doesn't seem willing to play.
I've heard
he
there's
just,
a lot
it
of
seems like he
concerns.
takes plays off.
I've heard there's a lot of concerns of, he understood, especially after Tennessee lost a game or two, it was kind of just he knew he was leaving. He didn't care as much as he should.
I mean, we've talked about this before. Preseason, this dude was talked about as the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So, like you just mentioned, it might be a situation where he viewed himself as that good of a player.
He knew he was going to
and he didn't want to get hurt and didn't want to hurt his drafts. Now, that's where the issue comes in. It's because teams see that and are like,
absolutely.
All right, so if we lose 3 games this year in the NFL and we aren't going to make the playoffs,
are you just
not going to play for us?
I hope for his sake it was. I just hope that wasn't the case for his sake. Whatever the off the field issues were, I hope gets cleaned up or whatever it may be. But Washington gets a true edge rusher here that they desperately need. And I think as long as the off the field issues doesn't come,
and I don't even necessarily say it's off the field because a lot of the issues are on the field.
That's a good point. Yeah. As long as whatever issues of him effort wise doesn't come out to be true or whatever it may be, I think this could be a really good pick for Washington.
Yeah. No, I mean, it could. I'm not the biggest James Pierce fan. We've talked about this. But the upside with that pick is massive.
Yes.
Moving on to pick number 30, we got the Buffalo Bills, and they're going to be selecting Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon. I've been a super huge fan of Kenneth Grant, but I think Derek Harmon just brings a versatility of a little bit better than a Kenneth Grant, where he can pass rush a little bit better, but still is great against the run. Derek Harmon was the only other defensive tackle not named Mason Graham to have an 80 pass rush grade and an 80 run stop grade this past season. If you're in a conversation with Mason Graham and you're getting picked at 30, that's a great value pick, especially at a position of need as bad as we need defensive tackle.
Yeah, no, I like Derek Harmon a lot. I like him, I'll be honest, I like him a lot more than Kenneth Grant.
Yeah.
Just be real. So I think this is a really great pick for Buffalo.
Yeah.
At 31, we have the Kansas City Chiefs selecting Gray Zabel, guard out of North Dakota State. I don't know why I was blinking there.
You were joking?
Yeah, same thing.
Oh, a little bit.
He's very versatile offensive lineman. I think that's what Kansas City needs. We saw what happened in the Super Bowl, just completely depleted. He adds great value as an instant starter on day one for them.
100%. Like you said, versatile type of offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Moving on, number 32, we're going to have the Philadelphia Eagles selecting Luther Burden, wide receiver out of Missouri. It's a luxury pick. Your team is not bad. You legitimately do not have very many holes.
No.
So why not add another really good receiver to that offense and make the passing game a little bit easier? You have Jahan Dotson as your third receiver right now. I think Luther Burden is a significant upgrade over
Yes,
that.
yes.
So if you can have Luther Burden, or Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown on the field at the same time with Saquon Barkley,
one of the best receiver rooms.
how do you stop that?
Yeah.
With the
offensive line, that's a really hard offense to stop. Yeah.
And then you look over at the defense and you're like, oh well, there's got to be something.
I hate the Eagles,
and it's like, nope, they're kind of good everywhere else over there too.
Eagles
but
so much.
yeah, Luther Burden just a value pick.
Absolutely.
And BPA basically at that point.
Absolutely. On to the second round. The Cleveland Browns have the first pick in the second round, but the 33rd overall pick, we have the Cleveland Browns selecting Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama. There's been a lot of rumors going around about the Browns being very interested in Milroe, and I get it. I really do. His potential could lead you to a very promising spot, or you could be a very promising team in the NFL if he hits his potential.
Yeah.
I am not the biggest Jalen Milroe fan per se. I don't think he's bad at all. Again, it's that risk of, all right, can he hit stride? Can he hit his potential?
Yeah. I am not a fan of Jalen.
Not at all?
I'll say that.
Okay.
When I was at Texas, when we played Alabama in 2023 in Alabama,
yeah,
the only game plan going into that game was to make Jalen Milroe play quarterback. And we did.
Yeah.
Through 2 picks, lost him the game because we had a pick 6.
Yeah.
You can't, to me at least, say, I don't. If our only game plan having to go into the game is make the guy play quarterback, you can't take him at that high.
Counter argument, though, and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, because absolutely, he isn't the best passer. He isn't that impressive as a passer. However, you did see him take strides.
Oh,
and
I
make
agree.
Leaps this past season as a passer.
I think this year he definitely took steps.
Yeah.
I just can't get that out of my head.
Oh, I understand it. I really do understand it.
Because we said going in, make him play quarterback, we will win the game. It's exactly what we did, and we won the game.
Yeah. No, I understand where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. With the 34th overall pick, we're going to have the New York Giants selecting Josh Connerly Jr., tackle out of Oregon. They went Abdul Carter in the first round. They didn't address the offensive line. They desperately need to attack that offensive line. You get Josh Connerly, who's a really good player, with this pick in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very high.
You are
on Josh
super high on Josh Connerly.
I think he has so much potential. I really do like this for the Giants, who desperately need help on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry
about that.
Plug and play type player.
Yeah, absolutely. At number 35, we have the Tennessee Titans selecting Emeka Egbuka, receiver out of Ohio State. I'm be honest with you. I know we're gonna talk about this when, towards the end of the video. I'll be honest. This just might be my steal of the draft. I am very high on Emeka Egbuka. I think you right away give Cam Ward a best friend and number 1 receiver. I know he's just a slot, but he runs so smooth. His route running is amazing. Holds records at Ohio State with the amount of talent they've had in that room. For him to hold the records he holds, I think shows the kind of talent he is. So I think this is a great pick for Tennessee.
Yeah, I really like that for them. Moving on to number 36, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we're going to be selecting Benjamin Morrison, corner out of Notre Dame. Now, there's a lot of injury concerns with him. They go Mason Graham first round. They attack the defensive line. You go corner second round. You help out that secondary desperately. Benjamin Morrison can be such a good player. That 2023 tape of him was, if he played that good this past season, there's arguing he might be the
top 10
top corner in this class. He was that good.
He
was that good. He just was hurt all this year.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love that pick for Jacksonville. At 37, we have the Las Vegas Raiders taking Siobhan Ravel, corner of East Carolina. He's fallen a lot since the draft process has started.
I mean, he tore his ACL.
Yeah, I mean, understandably so. Still a really good talent, though. Still high potential. I think this addresses a high need for the Raiders as well. So I think this is a good pick for them.
After going Genty in the first, you have to address the corner position.
Yeah.
You let go of Jack Jones recently. Mm-hmm. Name a corner on that team.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Siobhan Ravel could be their number one guy.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 38, we got the New England Patriots. We're going to be selecting Nick Scorton, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. Very raw prospect. I think he's one of the youngest players in this draft. He's only 20 years old, and if he isn't 20, he's 21, and he just turned 21. Scorton really reminds me of Keon. And, like, do you think? Like, they're super athletic defensive ends.
He is very athletic. Yeah.
They just need another edge rusher, and I think you mold a young edge rusher like Scorton in a defense that's going to be coached by Mike Vrabel now.
Yeah,
like I think he could end up being a really good
Yeah,
player
it's high
and
potential.
fit for them.
For sure.
So you stick in the trenches after going Will first round.
Yeah, absolutely. At 39, we have the Chicago Bears taking Travion Henderson, running back out of Ohio State. I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm not saying I was looking for reasons to hate on Travion Henderson, but because he was splitting reps with Judkins, I was really looking to nitpick him. He's so talented. He's so good. I mean,
He's a 3-down back.
absolutely.
Right away.
Look, I'm not questioning the coaches at Ohio State. You won the national championship. You know so much more about football than I do. I'm not questioning them at all. But he's a 3-down back, like you said. He is so talented. I don't understand why they had him splitting reps with Quinshaw Judkins. Maybe because of the politics of it all.
It's not even. I don't even think it was just politics. It's a smart thing to do. None of them got hurt.
Yeah, and it worked out for them. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not questioning them because obviously it was the right choice. But I'm really just trying to say he's so talented.
Oh, I know. No,
Like-
the Bears, for me at least, Omarion was in consideration at 10. And to be able to sit and take Jalen Walker at 10 and wait until 39 to get Travion Henderson,
I'm gonna be honest with
I'd
you.
way rather have that scenario than whatever
I was about to say,
defensive
I
player they
know
would
I've
pick
done
here.
more film study on Travion than Omarion, but I think having Travion at 39 is a lot better value than having Omarion at 10.
I'd way rather have Jalen Walker and Travion Henderson
Yes, absolutely.
than Omarion Hampton and Nick Scorton.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. Yeah.
Moving on to number 40, we got the Saints selecting Ariante Ursary. Like we mentioned earlier with them, they need everything.
Yeah.
They need, and you draft your hopeful franchise quarterback at number 9, you need people to protect him. They don't have that right now. Ariante Ursary is a very raw prospect, big dude, can move people. I would want him in front of me blocking and making sure that I'm not getting hurt. I think that's what the Saints view him here. They need a big body on that line to be able to protect their future of that team.
Absolutely. I think that's a solid pick. At 41, we have the Chicago Bears taking Kenneth Grant, D-tackle out of Michigan.
Little bit of a slide.
Chicago should give us like an award.
Yeah.
We literally rebuilt their entire team in one draft.
You guys might win the division with this team. Like, I'm not even... this team would be
That's
so good.
I mean, you definitely won the first 2 days off of the picks we gave you guys alone. You've addressed so many needs throughout this draft at key positions with great talent and great value at where you chose them.
The only thing...
I think all 3 picks were guys that slid. And like I said, just great value with positions of need.
Yeah, and then we're doing the opposite of what the Bears normally
Yeah,
do.
so
they keep letting that guy slide instead of just taking
our
the guy.
draft for them was so good, so that's how you know they're not about to do what we're about to do. Ryan Poles will find a way to do the exact opposite.
Yeah, no.
I've been very public on my dislike of Ryan Poles.
The only thing that maybe they could have done different is go offensive line, but, like, you get the best player on the board almost
and like you
every
already
pick.
dressed offensive line throughout free agency.
Yeah.
So like
The only question mark is left tackle, and it's a guy that's played there for 2 years. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's a guy that you're, oh, this guy hasn't played at all. Let's see if
Yeah.
he's any good.
exactly.
It's Braxton Jones. Like,
Yeah.
he's played in the league for 2 years already.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to pick number 42, we got the New York Jets selecting Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. A little bit of a slide for him. The biggest question mark with him and concerning thing for me is he's played for 6 schools in 7 years, including high school. That's just, I mean, it's probably not, I probably shouldn't dig too deep into that. Like, you can't take that too much.
It's just not ideal.
There's something off about that to me.
Yeah.
Great player. Very versatile player. You can put him next to Quinnen Williams. I think they would be a stud duo. But like I said, a little concerning with the schools, but a very good player. I think he can come in and play right away for him.
Absolutely. At 43, we have the San Francisco 49ers taking Tyleik Williams, D tackle of Ohio State. I'm a really big fan of Tyleik Williams. I think he has so much in his arsenal when it comes to not only pass rush, and I think he's a really good run stopper as well. I think he would be great on a San Francisco D line.
The only thing that I can't get this picture out of my head. When we played the Niners this year, the Bills, it was that snow game. The only thing I can remember vividly from that game is that defensive lineman with the padded helmet slipping and falling on his face. Yeah. They need defensive tackles so bad. Yeah. And Tyleik Williams is a massive addition for that team.
I like him a lot. Yeah.
Moving on to pick number 44, we got the Dallas Cowboys. They didn't address running back or they addressed offensive line in the first round. Mm-hmm. They didn't address skill positions, which they do need on that offense. Mm-hmm. So with this pick, we're going to have them selecting Caleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. Super versatile running back. Super power type of running back, and not just power. He can move laterally too, which makes him such a versatile running back.
He is more agile than people are giving him credit for.
And I think he's got breakaway speed. He is Absolutely. A very, very talented running back. He can also catch out of the backfield.
Yeah.
And you don't need him to come in right away and be your 30 carry type of running back. You just signed Miles Sanders. I'm not saying Miles Sanders is any game-breaking type of running back. You also came in and you signed Javonte Williams from the Broncos. Mm-hmm. So there's other names there that they have to be able to spell a Caleb Johnson. But by the end of the season, if you were able to draft Caleb Johnson, I would not be surprised if he was running the ball 25 times a game.
Yeah,
he's just that type of running back.
I really like Caleb Johnson. I hate that he's going to Dallas in our mock because I think he's very talented. At 45, we have the Colts taking Cameron Williams, tackle out of Texas. He is projected to be a first-round pick earlier.
He's kind of been falling a
little bit, but still very talented. I think he would be a great addition to help block Anthony Richardson / Daniel Jones because they're definitely both playing this year.
Yeah. You lose Will Fries, you lose Ryan Kelly. You have to address offensive line. Yeah. I think we both think Cameron Williams is the best offensive lineman on the board at this point. Yeah. So that's an easy pick for me, at least.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 46, we got not the Panthers, another bird. I'm so dumb. The Panthers are not a bird. We got a bird, though. We got the Falcons at pick number 46, and they are going to be selecting Trey Amos, corner out of Ole Miss.
That's the Old Dominion education.
I don't know why I had to do this on this pick because Trey Amos is one of my favorite players.
He's
in this
so
draft.
good. You just ruined it for Atlanta.
If you can have Trey Amos playing opposite of AJ Terrell, that's a very good secondary.
Yeah. No, I've been very high on Trey Amos throughout this process. I would even argue I could see him as a late first-round talent.
Yep. I would not be mad if we took him.
Yeah, but I think this is amazing value for the Falcons.
For sure, especially after adding Mike Hill in the first.
Yeah, absolutely. At 47, we have the Arizona Cardinals taking Jalen Noel, receiver out of Iowa State. Why am I blanking? Kyler Murray. I don't know why. It's been a long day. I'm so sorry. Give Kyler Murray.
I just called a panther a bird. We're all right.
It's PM football for a reason. It's late at night. Yes. We're exhausted. Yes. Give Kyler Murray more weapons. He needs help offensively. He needs more weapons. Jalen Noel, I think, could be a great addition to that offense. So, yeah, Arizona.
You've got Marvin Harrison to be able to do that intermediate type of stuff.
Yeah.
Jalen Noel is your underneath type guy. Yeah. He can also run deep routes though.
I was about to say I think he's pretty more versatile than what people will give him credit for.
And he's a very good slot. Yes. Like they have a Jaden Higgins, which I would consider with this pick too. I just think Jaden Higgins is more of a similar player to a player they already have in a Marvin Harrison Jr.
I agree, yes.
And even a Michael Wilson. Like those guys are kind of similar.
The bigger body type
You need that guy that's going to do the dirty work underneath, and that's exactly what Jalen Noel is.
No, I like that pick for them.
Moving on to pick number 48, we got the Miami Dolphins. They went Tyler Booker first round. We're gonna have them going Xavier Watts second round, safety out of Notre Dame. They all right, bold take. I think the Dolphins next year are gonna be a top 5 pick.
It's I'm not going to agree or disagree because obviously we have to see what happens, but they haven't made any really splash moves this offseason to really say, hey, they could go compete for the division.
Yeah. But regardless of what I think they're going to finish next year, they need help at that safety position. They signed Ashton Davis, and they have 85-year-old Jordan Boyer playing that position who cannot move anymore. Xavier Watts comes in and is an immediate starter, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I like Xavier Watts a lot, so I think this is a good pick for Miami.
Especially because I think Malachi Starks is in consideration at 13. But now you get Tyler Booker at 13, and you wait until 48, and you can still get Xavier Watts.
Yeah, absolutely. At 49, we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking Alfred Collins, D tackle out of Texas. We have them addressing D-line again, which is what they need. Not only are you building through the trenches, you're doing it on the defensive side of the ball, which you guys sucked at last season.
That's the only reason they didn't make playoffs. Like, legitimately.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you'll agree with me or not. You might hate this take, but I think
I would have been terrified if they made the playoffs.
I was going to say, I think the only reason Joe Burrow didn't win MVP is because of that defense. He was an amazing quarterback last year. Like, you could argue he was the best quarterback last year. If they won 3 or 4 more games, I honestly think he would have won MVP. And the reason they didn't win 3 or 4 more games is because that defense was just so bad.
Yeah. No, I agree. That defense was terrible, and Alfred Collins is a run-stuffing defensive tackle, and that's exactly what they need.
Yeah.
Moving on to pick number 50, we got the Seattle Seahawks. They addressed offensive line in the first round with Donovan Jackson. You stick with offense and you address receiver and take Jaden Higgins with the second with your second-round pick. I love Jaden Higgins as a prospect.
I like him a lot.
He's a big body type of receiver. Not saying he is this player, but he reminds me a lot of Drake London.
I could see some similarities in them.
They're
Absolutely.
good route runners, strong hands.
Good hand. I would say good hands. Yeah.
And they're not slow. Like, they can run. They're bigger type of receiver, so you don't necessarily need them to be that speed type of receiver, but he can still make plays after he catches the ball.
Yeah.
And you sign Cooper Kupp as the Seahawks. You have Jackson Smith and Jigba. If you can have those 3 out on the field at the same time, that will help Sam Darnold so much because not necessarily me, you're going to say he needs as much help as he can get.
Yes.
And Jaden Higgins does that.
No, I like Jaden Higgins a lot. I think this is a great pick for them, especially with what they've lost in that room this offseason.
Yeah.
At 51, we have the Denver Broncos taking Jalen Royals, receiver out of Utah State. We gave them a running back in the first round in Amarion Hampton. Keep adding to that offense with Jalen Royals just to kind of ensure you don't give Bo Nix that sophomore slump.
Yeah.
You don't want to bring that negativity to him or the franchise. You want to keep bolstering him, keep giving him things to just elevate his game, and I think we do that with Jalen Royals here.
I love Jalen Royals. I think he's a complete receiver. Like, he's got speed, he can run routes, he can break tackles. He's a very, very versatile type of receiver, and that's exactly what the Broncos need. Moving on to pick number 52, we got the Seahawks again. We're going to have them go into the defensive side this time. We're going to have them selecting Landon Jackson, edge rusher out of Arkansas. Just a big body edge rusher. He is a really good run defender and can pass the rusher. Can pass rush past the rusher. He can pass rush. He needs to work on his pass rushing, but I think with the frame that he has, with the arm length he has, he could be a really good pass rusher.
Physically, he is your prototype edge that you would like to see with size and weight and stuff like that. And I agree, like, if he could just polish some things in his pass rush, he could possibly be a home run hit here at 52. At 53, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking Carson Schlesinger. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
You kind of went a little fat. Schlesinger.
Just want to make sure I mess up.
Schlesinger.
Carson Schlesinger, linebacker out of UCLA. Levante David's getting older. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little surprised he's still with the team. I thought he would be either retired or left.
Yeah.
But this pick at least allows you to allow another linebacker to grow and learn from that. I'm not saying he can't start right away, but this is more of a pick for later years to kind of help develop a true star linebacker for years to come.
This pick kind of reminds me of the Vikings pick in the first round. They need that heir apparent in a position like that, where you just got a 35-year-old player out there waiting for an ACL to snap.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what West
Hopefully
Virginia is
not,
for them.
but-
No, I mean, obviously, hopefully not. But like,
You just throwing it out there.
I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry, Bucks fans. Regardless, moving on to pick number 4. Moving on to pick number 54. We got the Green Bay Packers, and they're going to be selecting JT Tuimoloau.
No. Yeah,
Tuimoloau,
that's actually pretty good. Better than what I would do.
edge rusher out of Ohio State. I'm not the biggest fan of either of the edge rushers from Ohio State, to be honest. I like JT a little bit better, though. He's better at the run, and I think he might not be better at pass rushing, but is more consistent pass rushing. He wins a lot with power, and that's exactly what the Packers do when they pass rush. They have Rashawn Gary, who can't do a swim move or a spin move or any type of move. It's
He's
just
strong.
trying to hit somebody and push you backwards and sack
And
the
it works
quarterback.
for him.
That's what JT is, too.
Yeah.
But he can also stop the run, so I really like that for them. They go Golden in the first round, address the offense. Go JT in the second round, address the defensive line.
Absolutely. I like that pick a lot. At 55, we have the LA Chargers taking Azariah Thomas, corner out of
You know
Florida
what?
State.
We've been saying his name wrong.
Really?
It's not Azariah.
What is it?
Azarie.
Azariah. That's actually tough for him.
I know.
Azarie?
I heard, I think it was...
I saw he had like a little round of interviews. He was
No,
going
it
through
was
this
one of the pundits. It was it doesn't really matter who it was, but he was talking about him and he was like Azarie, and I was like, "Oh." I don't even know why I said that. I just think that that's an even cooler name.
No, that's an absolutely cool name. Azarie?
Azarie. They call him AZ.
I'm gonna stick with that. I mean, it's both cool.
You know why
Azarie
AZ is cool though as a nickname? Because he can guard anybody A through
A
Z.
to Z, yeah. Just like Amazon.
Yep.
To Z, yeah.
Mhm.
Sponsor us, Amazon.
Sure.
Azarie.
If we get an Amazon sponsor, we will not be doing this podcast anymore because we're making so much money.
Fair.
But we're not.
Azarie Thomas, I really like him as a prospect. Very physical, great size to him. And it's to a Chargers corner room that desperately needs help in that room. So I think this is a home run pick for the Chargers.
Yeah, you lose Asante Samuel Jr. or for right now you lose him. He's still a free agent. No one has signed him. But yeah, like you said, great addition to that room. Can play press man.
Yeah.
Can play zone if you need him to. Really good press man coverage guy though. Yeah. Moving on, number 56, we got the Bills selecting Maxwell Harrison, corner out of Kentucky. He was one of the highlights of the combine. Ran a 4.29.
Something like that. I'm pretty sure he was sub 4.3. Yeah.
And just speed. He had injuries this past year. I think he only played in like 6 games. The Bills desperately need another corner opposite of Christian Benford. They didn't address it in the first round because of Derek Harmon fell to them, which is, again, still addressing a major need for them. But they need to hit on a corner in this round. And I think Maxwell Harrison can be that corner for them. He can play man. He can play zone. We're mainly playing zone. So if I can see a guy that's fast and can play zone, I'm willing to take him here. And that's what we're doing
I
here.
think that's a very good pick for the Bills. At 57, we have the Panthers, who is not a bird.
It's not a bird.
Picking Darian
Quite
Porter.
opposite of a bird.
Literally. Picking Darian Porter, corner out of Iowa State here. I feel like ever since the combine, this guy has shot up a lot of boards as well. Great value pick as well. You need someone to go opposite side of
JC Horn.
Thank you. It's so late. I'm so sorry. JC Horn, who you just paid a lot of money to. You need a guy opposite of him. I think that's exactly what they're going to do here with Darian Porter. I think it's a really good pick for them.
Very raw prospect. Has only played corner for 3 years, switching from a receiver. Yeah. So he's got that those ball skills already.
Yeah.
If he can clean up the coverage ability, could be a really good player. The only concern with him is he's 25. A little concerning.
A lot of experience.
But
like
exactly.
On the bright side.
Exactly. Moving on to pick number 58, we got the Houston Texans selecting TJ Sanders, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. Big defensive tackle that can stuff the run and still pass the... I don't know why I keep saying pass the rusher. Can rush the passer. And that's exactly what the Texans need here. Mm-hmm. They need to address both sides of that line, and they did that in the first round with Josh Simmons. You do that here with TJ Sanders in the second.
No, I think it's a pretty good draft so far for the Texans. At 59, we have the Baltimore Ravens taking Braden Swinson, edge of LSU, another guy that's kind of shooting up boards the last few weeks. And we have the Ravens keep adding to the defense. We have them taking Imanwari. It was Imanwari. Yeah, we had him taking Imanwari in the first round. Add to the defense. Not only add to the defense, add to a position that you really need an edge. I think it's a really good pick here for Baltimore.
I love Braden Swinson. I think he's a very good player. Moving on to pick number 60, we got the Detroit Lions, and they're going to be selecting Wyatt Millum, offensive guard out of West Virginia. I'll be completely honest with you. I haven't watched too much of Wyatt Millum. A lot of people like him, though, and the things have heard about him is a very consistent player and is a plug-and-play type of guy. They lose Kevin Zeitler. So I don't even, did he retire or did he just leave him for agency? I don't remember anybody signing him.
He may have retired, but I could also be wrong about
that. But regardless,
they have definitely not there.
They have a hole to fill on that offensive line, and you get a proven starter, a guy that started 3 or 4 years for West Virginia, to come in and start right away, and on a really good line. Like, he doesn't have to be that true star.
I think that's such a Lions pick.
He doesn't have to be that superstar offensive lineman. He just needs to do his role because he gets to play next to some really good ones.
Absolutely. At 61, we have the Washington Commanders taking Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. Right now, our other starting safety is Will Harris. No shade to Will Harris at all. Senior highlight tape. I like what I see. We could get better, though.
Yeah.
We could get better. And Kevin Winston...
Especially, it's only like a 1-year deal, isn't it?
Exactly. Like 1 year, $4 million, $2 or $4 million, I think.
It's like a prove it to us
exactly.
type of deal.
Get Kevin Winston Jr. here. Add competition. If not, you add a starter. And we desperately need safety over in Washington. So I think this is a really good pick for us.
Ball hawk that can tackle.
Yeah.
That's who Kevin Winston Jr. is. Moving on to pick number 62. I've been waiting to say this name because as soon as we made this mock, I've been practicing his name because I don't want to mess it up. Yeah. Moving on to pick number 62, we got the Buffalo Bills selecting Oluwafemi Oladejo.
Good job.
Edge out of UCLA. They brought him in for a 30 visit a couple days ago. I wasn't too familiar with him. Whenever I see the Bills bring in a player on a top 30 visit, I usually go and watch them just to get familiar with who they are. He was a stand-up linebacker his first 3 years at LSU. He's only 6'2". He added about 30 pounds this year, moved down to the edge. Just a very versatile defensive end that is kind of growing into his new body because he's about 30 pounds heavier than what he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy to be able to drop into coverage off of the edge position. We were trying to do that with Von Miller and Greg Rousseau. Like, let's get a guy that can maybe actually do that.
Legitimately do it, yeah.
And that's exactly what Olu does here.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good pick for you guys. At 63, we have the Kansas City Chiefs selecting Quinshon Judkins, running back out of Ohio State. I'm going to be honest. I was never really a fan of Pacheco. I'm going to just be honest right here.
You don't love people hitting the ground as hard as they can when they run?
Dude, you ever watch Monsters University?
Yeah.
That slug that just moves his arms so aggressively.
I will say.
And goes nowhere. That's literally Pacheco.
I will say Pacheco is a social... As much as everybody wants to call Justin Herbert a social media quarterback.
I see your translation.
Isaiah Pacheco is a social media running back.
I see your translation. I completely agree with you. That's why we have them taking Quinshon Judkins here. I think he is automatically and right away an upgrade to Pacheco. Yeah. So I really like this pick for Kansas City.
I mean, they still have Kareem Hunt. You can't not put him on the field. He's still
but I take at least as a prospect and with the age and everything, I'm absolutely taking Quinshon over those guys.
Yeah. And then the last pick to close things up, we got the Eagles selecting Marcus Mbow, offensive lineman out of Purdue. I just think he's a super versatile offensive lineman that can just be, right now, coming in, your sixth offensive lineman.
I really hate that we have him going to Philly because I really do like him a lot. He's so aggressive, very clean footwork, and like you said, he's very versatile, which is what Philly loves. Yeah. So
you lose Mekhi Becton. If I'm blanking on who they brought in to replace Mekhi.
I'm blanking on it too.
Regardless, they did bring somebody in to replace Mekhi, but if he doesn't work out, Membu can come in, or Mbo. I don't want to confuse people with Mbu and Membo. I don't know why they have to be so close in names, Membu and Mbo.
And either way, Lane Johnson is getting older. You don't know how much longer
he could be the heir apparent.
Exactly. So unfortunately, this is a really good pick for Philly.
And like I said, he could come in and be your swing tackle right now. Mm-hmm. And on the downs when they do the push, he can come in and help out with that.
Absolutely. So that wraps up our 2-round mock draft. Is there a guy that you see that we have drafted in our mock that you think could be the steal of the draft?
I know he's not your favorite player, but he's one of my favorite players, is Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant at 41 is great value, especially with the draft that they had already had prior to selecting him.
Mm-hmm.
You get Travion and you get Jalen Walker in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And then you cap it off with taking Kenneth Grant in the second with your last pick. It's a home run, A-plus draft.
Which is why Chicago's not going to do it because
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
So Ryan Poles will not do it.
They'll take Travion at 10, and then they'll take these players, but in the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it'll just screw up the years that they're able to keep all these guys,
Yeah.
and all the money will get messed up.
And then he'll get another extension to,
Yeah,
to
exactly.
keep being the GM. I actually have two guys. I know I had two guys last time, but I got two guys again. First one, Emeka Egbuka. I know I'm a little higher on him than other guys, but I truly do like Egbuka a lot. I think he adds a lot to the slot position. I think right away he will be... Okay, not right away, but I think before his rookie contract ends, I think he will be up there in like top tier with the best slots in the league. I think that highly of him. And my other one is Trey Amos. Like I said when we talked about him to Atlanta, I think there's a very good argument that he could be a late first round pick. So to get him here in the middle of the second, I think is amazing value. So I really love that pick for Atlanta.
Yeah. No, and I mean, if you're gonna go two, I'll go two. I know you're gonna hate this, but Luther Burden to the Eagles. Like,
And I don't hate it because I hate Luther Burden. I hate it because I like Luther Burden and he's going to the team I hate the most.
when we were talking about that pick, it just makes so much sense for them to do that and make that offense literally unstoppable.
Yeah. I would be so mad.
And then not only just to draft Luther Burden, let's just make sure that with the last pick in the second round, if our guy that we brought in free agency to fill in for Makai doesn't work out, we have Mbo to be there and be ready.
I don't know why we make the Eagles better every single... I feel like
It's
we
so
give the
easy, though.
Eagles probably arguably the best picks value-wise.
But
every
it's
single
just,
mock.
it's so easy because that's what they do.
And they already have such little
that's what I was
needs
gonna
where it's
say.
Every pick's a luxury.
The reason it makes it look like it that we're doing that is because their team's already that good.
I hate it.
But yeah, so good luck with that.
Yeah, but I had fun doing this. This is
Yeah.
our first two-rounder, so I definitely
Yeah.
had fun doing this.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely liked doing multiple rounds because, like, when we do one round, like,
It,
it's
it
like,
becomes
okay,
repetitive.
and it kind of is like understanding why we go a certain guy in the first round because we might wait till the second round to address this position.
Absolutely. Is there anything you would like to say before we wrap this thing up?
No, we got 2 weeks.
I'm so excited. This is the
2
best time, in my
weeks.
opinion. Like, this is... We said this when we first started this. Like, this is our Christmas. Like, this is December. For normal people, that's what it is for us.
Yeah.
Like, this is such an exciting time of year, and I cannot wait for the 24th.
How
and
does
that
it-
entire weekend?
How does it feel having a team that's actually good now, though? Because
It's
I know
so
I
weird.
know the feeling of this time of the year with a bad team.
I think it's a little different than your usual 29th pick, because usually when you're 29, I feel like you have a lot more established players on your team, and Washington's just not in that position. We just have a superstar quarterback that broke so many records. Like, we still have a lot of questions, a lot of different places, and the places where we don't have question marks, those guys are either old or in their final year of their contract. So it's a lot different than your ordinary 29. But to answer your question, it's very weird. If you had told me this time last year that, hey, next year for next year's draft, you will be picking 29th overall, and it's not because you traded, it is because that is where you guys finished, I would call an insane asylum to come pick you up, because like, there's just no shot that's even realistic. Next thing you know, it is. So
The best part about picking this late in the draft, because I mean I've dealt with it for the past
Yeah.
5 years at this point now. You're not only picking a guy to just help you, you're picking this guy to help you win a Super Bowl. This
Yeah.
guy is supposed to be that piece that you need to get you to that
Yeah.
next step.
Absolutely.
Not picking at 5 and, let's start something.
Yeah, that was us.
This is-
my entire life. Yeah.
These picks with from 25 down, that guy you're selecting you're hoping is that final puzzle piece to get you to the Super Bowl.
I don't know about you, but every year, do you always wonder? Like, I wonder who's gonna be the first round rookie to win that Super Bowl.
Not really, but I mean,
I'm beyond. Like every year, I'm like after the first round, I'm like, I wonder which one of these guys, because that's gotta be cool to be to win the Super Bowl your rookie year. After every year after the first round, I'm always like, I wonder which one of these guys is gonna hold that honor to say, hey, I won the Super Bowl in my rookie year and I was the first round pick. So I don't know why I kind of went that track, but I don't know. I just look. I think it's because I'm looking at it now, and you brought up, hey, there's a piece to add to the Super Bowl you're trying to achieve. I just started looking at it like I wonder which one of these guys will be that guy.
well, I'm sure you're hoping it's James Pierce Jr.
I absolutely do, but
It's a very positional need.
yeah, I mean we'll see. Though I had fun doing this. I think it's a pretty solid. I think our picks are pretty solid. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, like we talked about, I really like the top 7 that we have. I think that I'm not going to say set in stone. Nothing's set in stone. Something could change the night before the draft.
But yeah, we talked about it earlier. Like if it's not these guys, it's only one or two other guys. Like
And I think it's the positions we have,
yes,
just maybe another player in that position.
yes, I agree with you. Yeah. All right, that about wraps it up for us. Please follow us on Twitter at PM Football Podcast. Follow us on TikTok as well. I don't know why I always trip.
The
in
two
that-
T's.
Yes. Follow us on TikTok as well at PM Football Podcast. Like, subscribe, share the video, comment what you liked about our mock, what you didn't like, what you agreed with, what you disagreed with, who you think the steal of the draft could be, who you think we kind of overreached with. Yeah, just let us know. We are open to all comments.
Yep. Let us know what team you like in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we want to know what fans we're talking to.
Absolutely. We know we're talking to Guam.
We
We
are
know that.
big.
Huge on Guam.
Big Guam. What fans are in Guam?
Yeah. Yeah, what fans do they have in Guam?
Guam. All right.
All right, thank you guys. See you next week.
See ya.